like, oh,
I don't either.
a weird like meditative space, and like, just be mindful and intentional, and
and I
let
could
the
just
room
sit
make
here
noise.
for a while until one of us is like, hey, was I supposed to say something?
I know. I always feel like I should like do my watch, like a lap. And then I literally never remember it. But hello, everyone. Welcome back to Strong Female Lead. We are a podcast, and we ask very hard-hitting questions. Number one of those questions is Hollywood getting it right? What is a strong female lead? And are they getting it right? Those are three questions. Questions 1, 1A, 1B, and 1C. You got it. You got the whole thing.
Hard-hitting journalism.
Hard-hitting journalism. And why do we do this? We do this so we can create a social dialogue about female characters in movie and television. And today we have quite an amazing selection from the small screen. It's an FX drama extraordinaire. Everyone just get excited and just like be in this pride moment with us as we talk about Pose. Yay! The crowd goes wild. I just imagine the ball welcoming me with Billy Porter.
The category is
podcast.
Strong Female Lead.
Yes, this was such a good time.
With all your SFL realness, show it to me. Do not show that brick face. I wanted to write down all of the incredible phrases and all of the put downs. Because I wanted to.
There's a reason why Shade originated with this community, because it was epic. It was everything. I felt red at moments. I was like, "Can she see me?"
I 100% felt like, yes, they were reading me, and I love that, because I've always heard the phrase like, "You read them the riot act." But like just reading, period. I was like, oh, and I do want to incorporate some of those put downs into my day-to-day lexicon.
Who are you day-to-day fighting with? Like,
I don't care. I'll fight with anyone now. If I have these in my little like backpack, metaphorical backpack of just like put downs. Yeah, they were very aggressive. That's something I want to bring up at some point, because it was a lot of like trying to drag other people down at times. And sometimes it was sad to watch, but it was so entertaining. And I was like, maybe I do need to just feel more hostility. And
sometimes you just have to choose violence. And in the moments that these ladies chose violence were perfection.
Violence with their words.
Yes. That is one of my favorite things that the Gen Zs say. And then she knew the assignment. Everyone on the show knew the assignment or got the assignment right, whatever they say. The youngin, they get it. The TikTok crowd.
I don't know. What do you mean choose violence and they know the assignment?
Yeah, like every day you wake up and you choose happiness, you choose like all of those affirmation words, and then some days you wake up and you just choose violence, and anyone can get it. And I love that about them. I love that kind of sassy realness coming out of Gen Z.
Sassy realness.
Yes.
So Tessa, I guess we should say our names. I'm Trisha. You're Tessa.
Yeah.
We're here.
Yeah, guys, it's like episode like 1 million.
I know. You're probably not just coming into this one, but I feel like if we don't say our names, we've missed some sort of mark.
We probably have, for tradition's sake. I'm one of your co-hosts, Tessa.
For tradition's sake, yes. And I'm the other one, Trisha.
Yes. Nice to meet you. How was your day, listener and Trisha?
Oh.
We'll pause for the listener just to feel like you. What? Man, you had a really good weekend. Okay, back to the show.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah, that space.
That small dialogue we had with our listeners.
That space you gave them. The openness.
Yeah.
Back to the show. And back to us. Okay.
Back to us, most importantly.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, how was your weekend?
It was pretty good. I made a signature candle with some friends, had like a little ladies night, and I have some amazing candle being like hardened or whatever they do to make it solid after I added all of my amazing essential oils to it. But yeah, mostly I avoided being outside. I absolutely hate hot weather, and so this is just a very trying season for me. Everything is trying my nerves. But other than that, it was a good weekend.
Oh, okay.
How about you?
It was a good weekend. Yeah, Zach's sister came into town, so my sister-in-law. And yeah, we hung out and we just, we went around the neighborhood, the new neighborhood we live in, and South Loop. So, just did a little walkabout on Printer's Row, grabbed a couple drinks, some food, went to Navy Pier today. Apparently the pandemic's over, like just over.
Yeah, I found that out. I don't know that I believe it. We were saying there should be some closing ceremony. Like, there needs to be something to be like, okay, it's really done. There's no resurgence. There's no crazy mutation taking over somewhere that's going to lock us all down again. Just like,
yeah, it seems a little almost like anticlimactic, but maybe the opposite way. I don't know what the word for that is, but like, it's like we've been in a climax for about a year. And now we just need like recognition that the climax is over. Because it's just unclear whether we're supposed to continue the climax.
It is. I'm normally like weary of crowds doing anything, but like I feel like because most of society is most of Chicago out in the society, most of Chicago seems to be in agreement that the pandemic is over by their almost refusal to wear masks. And I saw like 1 million people go into the Cubs game this past weekend, and I was like, how quickly we forget. How quickly. I just couldn't do it. That's too many people. Like, that's just too many people.
What? Oh, the Cubs game.
A stadium. Oh.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. I know I have the vaccine. Too many people.
I know. I mean, I've apparently never been to Navy Pier. I mean, I feel like I've been to areas surrounding it, but I'd never been to like Margaritaville area.
Oh yeah. And the Shakespeare Theater is down there.
Oh. So we just kind of like went a little bit, and then we had to turn back because we had Sawyer with us, and he doesn't do very well in heat, and he made it all the way there. And then we walked a little bit back with him, but sometimes we wait until it's too late, and then he's just exhausted and he just kind of like flops down, and we just have to like be throwing water on him.
Oh no.
He's not like a typical dog that can just like keep going for miles and miles. So I walked partially. So we went in, and I went into that area with like the McDonald's and all that, and just a lot of people milling. Then walked a portion of the way back, and then called an Uber Pet, because that is a thing.
Well. And your pet doesn't have to be like caged. It can just be.
What? Oh no! I just jump in with my dog.
Whoa! Okay, that's a full service Uber. I didn't know you could do that. I've seen a cat in a regular Uber, but it was in a cat carrying thing. So I was like, I guess. Luckily, I'm not allergic, but.
Oh right.
It was like one of those Uber pools, and I was like, I feel like maybe not. Maybe you shouldn't bring your cat on the road with you. I don't know what's happening.
Well, right. I mean, why do I have my dog on the road with me? But it's like, well, I can't bring him into public.
But that's an
transportation.
awesome thing. I love that. I love that, especially if you had like a vet emergency and like there are no vet ambulances. And what do people do?
If you
If,
don't have a car or if there's nowhere to park.
Mhm.
It's very city. Like it's a real city moment.
Was it like a super nice car that
I mean,
picked
it
you up? Was it like
sounds
a town car
ridiculous.
for you and Sawyer?
No, it's a regular Uber where the person has agreed to like take
Oh,
pets. Now, I don't think they only Uber pet because I feel like there's just not enough of a demand to make your money off of simply Uber petting.
well, I don't know if people knew this. I didn't know that you
I
could do that. So, I mean,
I didn't either until I looked it up once, and I was kind of like, I need to take Sawyer to the vet, and I do not have the car, and he is not going to walk all that way, and he doesn't feel well. So I like did a little digging and a little research, and lo and behold, Uber Pet. So I don't know, if you do Uber or Lyft, or if you're boycotting one of them or both of them, because they're both have like terrible histories and stuff with certain things, right? I mean,
yeah.
it's one of those
Yeah.
things where it's like a beggar can't be a chooser in terms
Yeah,
of
this is
bringing
not
their
where I'll
dog.
make my dollar, my vote stance. It's not on Lyft and Uber. I'm like, I'll use either. All of them. Just need to get where I'm going.
I just don't, me too. I don't think that, like, I think there's plenty of bad stuff that's come out about Lyft. And then also, if it hasn't already, it will. It always does. It always ends up happening. But you got to be careful either way. But yeah, if you use the Uber app, if you scroll, just look, there is an option for pet. Do it right now. Actually, do you have the Uber app on your phone?
I do, but we're recording on my phone.
And wait, then don't do it now. Do it when we take a break. Oh God. So that's the weekend. It was great. And now we're here and we're celebrating Pride. And holy moly, you picked an incredible show.
I'm so excited. Very, not always do things live up to their hype, and everyone has been hyping Pose for like the past 3-4 years, and I just didn't give it a shot because I didn't want to be sad. And that was such a dumb thing to do with this show. That's still my stance on Euphoria, but I should have done that with Pose. Because it is just a joy to watch. Even the like dramatic story arc. Some people do have more dramatic story arcs, but it is like full of just so much hope and joy and all those other things. That what is sad about it is really just like reality creeping in, that this is 1987 or 88, and they don't know what they don't know, and in New York, and it's the early, it was really good. But if you guys haven't watched Pose yet, this is just a little synopsis in short. So Pose takes place 1987, New York City. And it goes into the early 90s in seasons 2 and 3. The story, this is a story about ball culture, gay and trans. This is, okay, we're going to just chop that. Okay. So Pose takes place in New York City in the late 80s and early 90s. This is a story of ball culture and the gay and trans communities and the raging AIDS crisis. Why do they keep saying "and" so many times? I was like, or just start a new sentence. Stop doing that. This is a story about ball culture and the gay and trans community, the raging AIDS crisis, and capitalism. I'll take that one. Third time's the charm.
Yeah.
But yes, so this story pretty much follows the character of MJ as the lead. And her story begins a little before the show begins, where she is kicked out of her family home for being who she is and coming out as a trans woman. And she falls into ball culture when she's taken in by the amazing Electra Abundance, who is the house mother of the House of Abundance. And they are epic and they are everything in 1987 New York. And that is where our story begins. Is there any thoughts on ball culture, 1987, or the beginnings, or any other characters in Pose? Anything. Tell me all your thoughts. I'll ask you all the questions.
Oh my God. It was awesome. It was truly, truly awesome. I mean, just the juxtaposition of the like Trump era that was sort of coming to play, like in terms of like those types of riches and the consumerism, the juxtaposition of that, and then this community of people who aren't fitting into that, and so then they're able to create their own community. And you know, the ball culture sort of kind of like brings those two worlds sort of together in a way, like at least in the show. I mean, it was so fucking good. It was so good. And I mean, Elektra, she was like so villainous.
I loved her.
And still so good. She's totally villainous. I mean, she's like, I mean, she like has all these people that she brings in. So basically like the community that competes in the ball culture, a lot of them create houses, and then they basically take in kids or young adults, whoever, are just not accepted in their own homes anymore, and so they create these families, but then they also like require them to compete, which is so amazing. And then Elektra is just so mean to the people in her house.
She is so arrogant. She is a black wasp, which for a long time is what I aspired to be, but now I see that a black wasp. Is that I wonder if that's a real insect. I'm sure it is. It's probably the most fierce one. Like, don't even look it up, listener. don't even look it up. It is. But yeah, she's so like comically villainous at some point. Like, she gives me the cartoon version of Cruella de Vil is like also Elektra. If you haven't already watched the show, that is who you should be picturing. And she's just as mean as Cruella. But she also looks just as fierce as Cruella all the time. Like, I don't love the 80s in terms of fashion, but she looked pretty damn good.
She looked incredible. Like, and she
this costume game. Oof.
Oh my God, the costumes and the like, the categories, and Billy Porter, and just the like, just how if there was someone who was truly terrible and wasn't good at it, he'd like shut down the music and tell them how terrible they were, and then they had to leave. And just there were so many lines I wanted to write down, but then within 5 seconds there'd be another great line, and I was just like, forget it, this is filled with just incredible lines. And his energy, and oh my God, just the way he played this role, it was just he was on every second. He didn't have an off second. None of them did. And like they're all just so beautiful. So like this, oh my God.
You know, let's talk through some of the other stories. There's so much happening.
There's so much happening.
It's so good. But MJ is our strong female lead. I don't know. There's so many like potential people who would be like up for strong female lead. I like Elektra, strong supporting lead.
Yeah.
Strong supporting mother. I want to give them all awards.
Angel.
We need a new category.
Incredible. Angel was, she was great.
Gorgeous. Oh my God.
Oh, she was stunning.
Yes.
Stunning. Yeah.
Yes.
I know. Okay.
So MJ,
what?
So MJ leaves Elektra's house. So Elektra is the house mother for the House of Abundance. And so MJ finally has it up to here with her, stealing her ideas. And so she's like, I'm going to leave the House of Abundance and start my own house and recruit my own people to compete in these balls. And if you didn't already watch the series, the balls are like these big, it looks like almost a warehouse party where they compete in categories like realness. So like, it could be ass shaking. It could be just like a great physique. Like they're so good. I love the one they did like Dynasty Realness was my favorite. I was like, okay, fine. Give me all the sapphires and all of the sequins and like whatever.
Dynasty, yes. Sometimes it would just be like they would have a fabric be the category.
Mm-hmm.
It was just so
Silk.
it was just like, so creative. And then some of it was like femme face. And then like there was body. Like, oh my God,
I loved it. In the very first ball that we see is like royalty, and they steal costumes from an exhibit, and they literally like walk in with like 17th century gowns on, and I was like, yes, I don't even care. Is that a crime? I don't think so. I think
they were arrested.
I mean, but was it a crime?
Unclear.
No.
I mean, I think.
They returned them. I was just borrowing outside, you know.
I was just borrowing.
Yeah, I mean, museums do it all the time. Like, looking at you, British Museum.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So it really wasn't a crime.
Oh my God.
But the House of Abundance is Electra, and so she splinters off and creates her own house, which is the House of Evangelista. And inside the House of Evangelista, we have even more potential SFLs. We find Angel, who is India Moore and so gorgeous, and her storyline is amazing. She's the romantic interest to Evan Peters from American Horror Story, and his wife, who is the redheaded Mara sister.
Kate Mara.
I never remember her name. I'm sorry, Katie. Because I actually really like you in this role. I thought you did a really great job. But so Evan Peters is a Trump employee. I just love how they brought him in too.
And to hear them talk about Trump, like just how he's talked about in the 80s.
Yeah.
You know, where India Moore or Angel is like, yeah, doesn't he have a gold toilet? Like that, that's what people are looking for at that time. Yeah.
And like, you know, not to completely shit on the 80s, but like that viewpoint of capitalism is king that's like, you know, on steroids. Everything is about like money. We're not paying any attention to social consequences, any consequences to these ruthless business tactics.
No way.
Happening
this is Wall Street.
In the late 90s. I was like, doesn't the Wall Street crash in 1989? And I'm sure this isn't healthy.
No, this is like Coke and mistresses and money.
Yes, and like, James Vanderbeek, just a fucking 10.
He came all over this project. It was awesome. I was like, thank you. I didn't miss you. And now I'm really glad to have you.
I always miss him, and I'm just so glad to see his face somewhere.
Interesting.
I love James Vanderbeek. I think he is one of the few people who is like a teen actor that actually like understands the joke about being James Vanderbeek and like can play it off really well. I don't know, maybe he doesn't feel that. Maybe he's very torn about the criticism he receives.
Maybe
from
he
society,
doesn't get the joke, but that's fine.
Maybe he doesn't. I hope so.
I hope he does.
But I think that he has great comedic timing. I'm just never mad about seeing James Vanderbeek.
Yeah, he's wonderful. I mean, he was great. He's great.
Yeah, Evan Peters was like truly terrifying, as he is in most roles. I feel like he has like a Johnny Depp quality before Johnny was Captain Sparrow, or Joaquin Phoenix. So I just really feel melt into their characters. Like I don't even see you anymore, which is like completely terrifying because Evan always plays like completely terrifying people.
I agree. I don't know how he does it because I now have seen him I mean, if we're counting all of American Horror Story seasons,
Mhm.
I've seen him play probably like 8 or 9 different characters. And each time I just don't see him as the actor. And he never looks that different either.
No.
Like I mean, in the cult one, he had like long hair or whatever. I mean, sometimes he looks different, but not enough to where he's not like gaining 40 pounds. He's not,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, whoa, like he's so good. He's
He
so
is.
good.
He is. He's such a good actor, which is like kind of scary.
Why? He's
I
too
don't,
good? He's a little
like
too
the
good
people
for you?
get lost in the character, and like I feel like people thought that of Johnny Depp for the longest, that he like became Captain Jack Sparrow. I don't know anything about
Well,
Johnny
he
Depp,
did.
and so he what?
He did become him. You don't know? He is.
No, wait. He is what? What do you
He
mean?
is. He is Captain Jack Sparrow. You know?
Like what? He's a pirate?
Yes. God, Tessa. Come on, a little quicker, please.
Sorry,
Catch
I was like,
on.
wait, what?
He is a
I was like,
pirate.
wait, when did he become a pirate? And I was like, what does that even look like? How do you become a pirate in 2021? I don't know.
It's just how he does it. No, I agree. He's just so good. Evan
So
Peters
good.
is so good.
Yes. So he is playing opposite Angel, India Moore's character, and their story in season 1 kind of involves her character working as a prostitute and then a stripper, and then she has the opportunity to become a kept woman. So we're kind of following her through that like emotional journey of not just being a kept woman, but actually like loving Evan Peters' character. But Evan Peters' character is married and has a kid and lives in New Jersey and is doing all the things, and he feels like a marginalized person who's someone, or just someone outside of, even though he is a straight white male, cisgendered white male, at least that's what's being presented to us in season 1. I don't know if that changes. I haven't seen any of the other seasons, but
what? So yeah, we better say like we have not watched season 2 or 3.
Yes.
So a lot of it could have changed. I think he has a really good monologue where he's talking to Angel about like why he's so drawn to her, because you know she is a sex worker when they meet, and you know they don't have sex right away. And so that's always a little sus. Like it's great, but then it's always a little like, what? Like, how is it even stranger? Like, how is this situation less comfortable?
Yeah.
Because you're not having sex. But anyways,
yeah.
But he had this great monologue where he said, you know, she's just 100% herself, even if that means, you know, marginalizing herself, and that he, you know, is doing the things that he thinks he's supposed to be doing, and he doesn't feel like a person. All he does is accumulate. And I thought that was just like, whoa. I mean, that's heavy and very fitting to this day and age as well. Just what are we doing? Like, what is our purpose? What's the meaning of life? And sometimes I feel like I'm just accumulating. It just really, I don't know. I was like, that's some good writing.
Yes. I liked that little piece. I was like, this is, for me, I felt that was like a little piece of meta commentary, like kind of a wink and a nod towards the audience watching a show like Pose instead of living, if that's something that speaks to you, living a lifestyle that would, you know, allow you to, you know, be your most authentic self. And I'm like, oh, ow, I felt that shot that you took at me.
I know, like,
I didn't appreciate
Ryan.
it.
Ouch, Ryan. Does he write this? I mean, I know he creates it.
I don't think so.
I don't know who wrote it. And then, you know, foul check. But yeah, there was a moment where it was just like, oh, okay. Yeah. I feel red.
Yes. But I love the juxtaposition between like Angel's character and then Evan Peters' wife, who are both like kept women in a way, but one is radically herself and lost, and one who would be Angel, and then there's Evan Peters' wife, Katie Mara, who feels trapped and without identity. And I was just like, whew, this is a lot. This is a lot. You have thrown a lot out here, Pose. You're putting a lot. I just felt like they were showing a lot of the spectrum of what it could look like to be kept and to be so comfortable that you don't want to change or feel like to stop moving is to stop existing.
Right.
It seems like as soon as she gets him, she's like, I can't do this.
Right. And how a lot of the feelings that, you know, not feeling authentic, not knowing what you want, thinking you know what you want until you have it, just all of that stuff is so universal, no matter who you are. And just to show that in all of them, it was super, super powerful.
Yeah. I feel like also like this was one of the first times I ever saw a midlife crisis on screen that didn't like make fun of it. Like Evan Peters' character was literally like, if I feel like it's usually played to laugh that men go through like this like 35 to 40-year-old midlife crisis where they're questioning everything. They might divorce their wife or remarry and all of that stuff. And I'm like, I appreciated it not being played lightly, because I feel like maybe I'm just the media that I consume, but I can't think of another occasion where a man who is going through something like that is not pretty much told to man up or like pat on the back. Let's never talk about the emotion behind it. But we even get Evan Peters crying in a therapy session, asking himself those questions. And I was just like, God, I hope more people watch this. I feel so stupid for like not watching it sooner at this point, because it's exactly what we're asking for all the time.
I know. Brian Murphy like gave it to us, and we weren't ready.
Yeah, it wasn't.
We weren't ready to see how good it could be played on screen, and then just your sexual preferences, right? Like that's a really interesting thing that we see in this also with with Evan's character, but then also like Chris Maloney.
Yes.
And oh my God, just seeing him on screen just makes me smile whenever
I love him.
Whenever he comes on screen.
I love him. I have an unreasonable crush on him.
Like Elliot.
Elliot. You will always be Elliot.
You'll always be Elliot. Like, does Mariska know you're here?
Exactly.
You need to tell her, and you need to, start becoming a detective again. But then also the kind of like the hidden, the shame that the men feel, these quote unquote heterosexual men feel. Like, I don't think Evan Peters, well, maybe he does. Yeah, no, he feels shameful about like being attracted to a woman like Angel who's trans. And then Maloney must feel some sort of way. He says it's a secret that he likes to have, but he also keeps her hidden. Like he's like, it's a secret and I like it, that way, but he keeps her hidden. And then the fact that he breaks up with Elektra after she has surgery, like gender assigning surgery or gender reconstruction surgery. And then now she's fully, a woman, like with her body and her spirit. And now she is told she's basically trash by the people at the hotel. And she can't go up and see him. It was fascinating. I'm like, my brain is breaking with all of these layers.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's not my ministry to try to figure those things out. Or, okay.
What? What do you mean? What?
Like the inner workings of like what's going on in Chris Maloney's character's mind, and like, or even like what is going on in Elektra's mind, like to be, I don't know, like gaslit in some ways by Chris Maloney's character into like, what? Like, do you love me? Do you want to be with me? Or is it like is it the novelty? I think like, also as like a woman of color, I'm like tokenism, like this fetishization,
Yeah.
that word, of it's too much.
It was a lot. And then for her to be treated negatively after she did something that you would think would make her, like, in that time, in that era, be more accepted,
Mhm.
and then to be thrown to the curb and find herself starting all over again now that she isn't this quote unquote novelty for this man, like now that she's authentically herself. It was insane. It was crazy to see.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was a hell of a storyline.
that was, yeah, it was an incredible storyline. And the things that people will go through, it just to feel like your body is the same thing as who you feel inside, like it just, all of it. It was so well done. It was so sensitive to the subject matter. It was so empowering. It was really, really fantastic. And, this story or the show makes history with the most ever cast members who are actually transgender, playing
That's awesome.
transgender
I
people.
did. I love that. I love that. Everything about the show makes me happy. I was like, they did all the things, every single thing that I think I've ever asked for. No flaws. Understood the assignment. They nailed it.
Well, I
but
mean,
there are more storylines.
He did cast two cisgender actors, or two cis actors, to play trans characters on Glee. So he changed.
He learned from his mistake. Yeah,
exactly. I know.
Yeah.
I love it.
Again, oh, makes me so happy. Who else? Who have we talked about? We've done
right.
Elektra, Angel, Pretel.
Well, MJ and Pretel are dealing with a recent HIV diagnosis.
That is true. Which would be unbelievable.
In the 80s, oh my god.
Yeah.
I mean, now
be going
through.
through.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's so sad to see, like, you just don't know what you don't know. And they at that time didn't, have the drugs or the understanding of like how to protect yourself. And yeah.
No, and they also weren't, being taken care of because, just the way they talk about it. And it's just in the hospital scenes where they show people not being given their food and they're not being, treated like people who are sick. And then Pretel making comments like they don't want us to get better. They don't want, HIV to go away. And it was like, I mean, it was the most common cause of death between, was it like 25 and 44 or something, for a period of time. Yeah, it was something wild. It's some number like that. Don't quote me.
That is a huge percentage.
But death. Yeah, I'm going to Google it. But there was a period of time where I do believe that it was the leading cause of death.
That's terrifying, especially having now just come out of a global pandemic, to have a community pandemic be happening and people not care or blame you.
I know.
Shows the depths of insensitivity.
I know. But it was insane. Okay, so sorry. Who are the other people? Who are the storylines? Everybody.
No, I mean, most of the storylines, returning to MJ, who's our thread through the whole of season 1. And I don't know if that changes in season 2, if the cast changes or anything, or the focus changes, because that would be very interesting. But MJ and not MJ, Bianca and Electra have rival houses, the House of Evangelista and the House of Abundance, who are going back and forth, tit for tat, winning different crowns and things, trying to like win Mother of the Year, which is just as it sounds. You are the, HBIC. And so we are following that storyline until we hit a fork in the road where these two equal and opposite forces come together out of grief. Blanca, it's Blanca, who's MJ. Her mother dies, and then through that experience, realizes that, she's been given two mothers, not only her biological mother, but also Electra, who took her in as a young teen, taught her the ropes in the ball scene, got her on her feet and into the House of Evangelista, even if by roundabout means. So she kind of comes and makes amends with her. They become friendly. And then Electra's time of need, after breaking up with her sugar daddy, Chris Maloney, is that Chris Maloney?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. After Electra is on hard times, after Chris Maloney dumps her, she goes and teams up with the House of Abundance for the final ball. And I won't give you the ending in case you haven't seen all of season 1, but it's really
good. It's so good. I mean, it's great to see Electra crawling back because she needs to have her ego like handed to her.
Yes.
She definitely needed it, so that was great. Because I mean, even when she, MJ handles her, or sorry, Blanca handles her really, really well. Because like, I mean, when she takes her in and she's like, these balls could use some paint. Like, don't you guys use silverware? Like, she doesn't have like 2 nickels to rub together, yet she is so pissed. And just, oh God. And it really cracked me up sometimes when Electra she really emphasized those T's. Like she'd say like butt 10. Just anything. I was just like, ooh. Mm-hmm.
I love that.
I know.
I love that. Well, that's pretty much the plot. I don't want to go too deep in detail, but I think, should we do SFL or talk about femininity and masculinity?
Let's start with SFL.
Okay. Well, up for the most coveted crowns or awards. What were they like? What do you call the one with the award with the little person on the top that they won? Did it have a name?
Oh my God, no. A trophy?
A trophy.
Was that?
That is the word I was looking for. I was like, but did it have like a special name? Like, no, probably not.
Oh, funny.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Because I was like, how many awards are there? Like, are we spending all of the like entry money, the door money on making these awards? Because like every night somebody would leave with like 5 awards, and I was like, where are you getting these? Are you just bringing them back every week?
Yeah, really. And where are you storing them? Because they're the size of people. Yeah, they were so big.
I love Electra like carrying one in like a red radio flyer wagon. I was like, that's freaking hilarious.
I know. I'm like, where are you putting these things?
Yes,
because we never see them outside of the ball like room, and we never see them other than people just carrying them away.
Yeah, they must have to return them and be like, you have to win it every week type thing. Because come on.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's insane. Where are they? Who's bringing them in?
There's one trophy maker in like Harlem somewhere who's just making a mint off ball culture, because every week they're just like, we need 10 to 15 trophies to hand out.
Oh my God. And I didn't know this, and I mean, I haven't read it, but like, so they're clearly like voguing, right? Mm-hmm. Just voguing at each other, which I love. I love like dancing at somebody, like in a competitive in a competitive, slightly caustic, yet stylized and like fierce as fuck manner.
Mhm.
Is that where Madonna's Vogue came from? Did she appropriate it or pull from that? Like, I'm very, very curious. Maybe this comes up in season 2 or 3. I don't know.
I imagine if I have no idea, I don't know anything about Madonna's like discography, as in like meaning when things came out. Like, I don't know if was that a song from the 80s or the 90s?
Yeah. Maybe early 90s.
Oh, okay. Well, then she definitely stole it.
Wait, let's see. Let's see.
I don't know why. I could have also just Googled it, but I think she stole it.
Oh, well, this is an OprahDaily.com. Okay,
Ooh.
it just popped up. One of the earliest examples of queer ballroom culture gone mainstream is in Madonna's Vogue video and its accompanying 90s performance, in which dancers from competing houses faced off on the dance floor, much like the song encourages you to do. So I am definitely going to have to listen to the words because I know it, but like I don't know it. You know, I need to see if that's how it, if that's what's going on.
If it's true, is it just the lore?
I mean, it seems very strange because, it came out in 1990, so it'd be very strange if it wasn't pulled from that culture. And then also, I mean, the timing would be a little much. But then also, Pose is the characters in Pose and the discussion of the ball culture is taken from a documentary called Paris is Burning. Yes. So it might be worth a watch, which I haven't watched it yet, but I hear that like a lot of the characters are kind of taken from that, at least pieces of them.
Yes. So many people have recommended me Paris is Burning. I feel like it's on Netflix right now, or it was. So if you are interested in Paris is Burning, it was on Netflix for a long time.
I hope so. So was it, so I don't know, Madonna?
I'm going to say she stole it. She knows she did. I mean, it's too coincidental. She's also in New York in the late 80s and early 90s. It just happens to.
And you go like this, and you do the same things with your, oh my God, the way they do, you guys can't see us, but we're doing it to each other. Just, I'm obsessed with like how perfect their hands are. And like just the wrist flexibility is just, and then when they
their
get
knee
like
flexibility, I was like, everyone has just like the youngest, like, the song is like knees like Megan, and it's like, oh my God, everyone in the 80s for some reason had knees like Megan. Like, wow, I feel like I was not that flexible as a 20-something.
They were so flexible. And then like in the ball culture, like one of the women was getting called out and like booed off the stage, and she's just like doing it at them as she's getting like, as she's obsessed. Like if I ever get fired or if someone kicks me out of a room, I'm going to start doing the hand motions at them. I'm going to dance away.
Yes. I love that.
So good. Oh my God, you muted yourself. Are you trying to mute yourself?
Yeah, somebody was just loud in my hallway. I was like, get your mail and go.
Oh, get out of here. Don't you know I'm recording?
Get out of here.
Okay.
You don't see the lights. You don't see the lights on. Camera's rolling.
So the category is strong female lead.
Yes. Oh, I love this show. So strong female lead, we have 3 categories in which we can award the SFL. We say yes or no. Those 3 categories are, is the lead character top billed? Does the character impact the plot and or move the story forward? And does the character have agency? And so MJ,
yes,
who is
yes.
Blanca. Yes. 100% yes. She's all the agency in the gosh darn world. She is everything she does impacts the plot from the moment she decides to have to open her house of Evangelista. Affects the plot and changes so many lives, and it's just like Oh, they're so good at writing a blended story like this. I am so pleased.
They are so good. I know. And it's not too much. You can follow each storyline. It's great.
Yeah, and empathize almost too much with these characters, even if their like lives don't mirror mine at all, or for some.
Yeah, it's great. Yes.
Yeah. What about Electra, our villainess?
Is she a lead?
Oh, I was well.
I mean, is she top build? I don't know.
Is she top build? I don't know. Let's see.
I mean, I want to give it to her, but
MJ, Dominique Jackson. She is top. Well, she's top build on IMDb.
Oh,
and so is India Moore.
Okay. I mean, they have pretty much the same screen time. I feel like all of them, all three of those women, I feel like they all have the same amount of screen time. It's just Blanca's character is seen as she's more of the lead in terms of the story, I guess. But okay, so Electra, well then top build, yes. Has agency, yes. Moves the plot along. I mean, she doesn't. She doesn't kick her out. She doesn't kick Blanca out. I
mean, yeah, that's the hard part. I'm like, are we taking it as three separate storylines? Because all the other characters fill into like those three. I mean, and there's the character of what's his name, Ricky and Damon, but we're not really talking about Ricky and Damon. So there's four leads, if you count Damon, because we get like all of his backstory. But are we taking them as four separate stories making up one story, or one story with diverging 3 to 4 leads?
Yeah, I guess I was thinking of it as one story, but I don't know. Like one story, but with multiple leads, kind of just interwoven stories. But I would, at least I'm thinking the beginning and end of season 1 was about the start of the House of Evangelista, and then them winning and her becoming like Mother of the Year. So if I'm thinking about other characters impacting that plot, like the growth of that house, I don't know, man. I don't know.
That's hard. Yeah. I mean, I feel like that would disqualify Angel, because she really is like the more of a supporting lead than a true lead, in my opinion. But I would say Electra. I want to say yes, because if she doesn't get MJ out of jail, what does MJ do after? I'm assuming she doesn't have money to bail herself out. So the story could have ended right then if her action didn't change it.
Right. Oh yeah, when did she go in jail? I'm trying to remember.
She went in jail after she got kicked out of the bar for trying to go into the white gay bar, or the but I mean, it just sucks because her motive was like spite. She's like, no, you need to be there when I win.
I know. I love that. That was very crazy. I'm like, wow.
I was like, that's intense. That's an intense, like, that's a Michael Jordan level of intensity, like, towards one single thing, which I wish I had. I wish I had that.
Yeah, me too. But I think she would have gotten out of jail, right?
Gotten out of jail and then like been able to like keep her house and everything. Like,
oh, maybe not.
I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know. How long do you go to jail for like disorderly conduct? Like, I don't know.
I just don't feel like that long.
So I was like, wait, she did have a job. She was a nail tech.
Right.
So seems like a forgiving industry. Like,
oh my God. Okay. I don't know. I don't
I'm
know.
gonna give it to her. I would say that
hat.
Elektra is also. I think she's an SFO. But you
Okay.
can give her a tiny hat if you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna give her a tiny hat.
I like
So
it. I mean,
yeah.
We're debating how great the show is. We're like, oh, do all of them get it? Just a few? Like,
I know. I don't think Angel is a lead.
No, I would definitely put her in the supporting category.
And
I'll give her a tiny hat. I think she does all the things, but just
she impacts her story.
Plot. Yeah.
Impacts her story for sure. And agency, top build. Yeah, Elektra. Yeah. I think I'm gonna give it to her. I'm gonna give Elektra. I mean,
both these ladies deserve crowns.
You can't be
flowers.
that fierce.
Yeah.
You can't be that. You just can't.
Especially coming from the wasteland that was $1 Billion Baby. I'm ready to give everyone
everybody
after that shit show.
And then I just read Janet Mock, who's the director, producer, and writer for Pose.
I didn't know she wrote it.
And she's a trans woman.
Mm-hmm. She's beautiful.
So fucking A. Oh my God.
Nailing it. Nailing it. Okay.
So great. It's like book smart great.
It is.
Like really getting
there. They definitely passed the Bechdel test, which is any scene that two female characters talk to each other about something other than a man. Nailed
100%.
it. Nailed it. Ugh, it was beautiful.
Oh yeah, Janet Mock is gorgeous.
They made it look so easy to talk about something that wasn't a man, which is
so easy. I did. Oh my God.
But all of our watching has proven that it's actually a very hard thing to do, is to have two women talk on screen about something that isn't a man. The rest of Hollywood seems to disagree. Pose nailed it and won, and the rest of Hollywood still seems to disagree.
I know. I don't get it. I just don't think it's hard. That's the thing. It's not.
It's like anything that's not a man. Like anything. The mail. I'm just looking around my apartment right now. Purses, bags, shoes, like anything.
Right. I've got books.
Yeah.
I've got a water bottle I could talk about.
Right? AirPods, they suck. Don't care what anyone says.
I have like Washa stones that I could really get into.
Yeah. We've done it for like 40 minutes right now, talking about anything that's not a name.
Except for Evan. But like, he's fine.
He was worth it. It was worth it.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm okay with that. I mean, guys, we're probably missing stuff, but please, like, let us know on social. There's so much in Pose. I'm sure we're missing it. It's like there's not even enough time to talk about it. So, femininity, masculinity. I mean, what are the creators telling us?
Yeah, I feel like that's their central thesis. Is that both of these are a joke, and that you get to live the life that you want if you're, brave enough to do so. I just love that I know. Just reinforces the fact that this is all a fucking act.
But like, here's the thing: there is some. I mean, this takes place in the 80s, so it's very, like, they're very focused on it. There's really not a lot of non-binary discussion. It's very like femininity, masculinity, right? And they also, it seems like there is a put down in the culture of masculine women or trans women not being feminine enough.
Yes.
right? And then
Yes.
the put downs, like the beating up of each other verbally to
Mhm.
get ahead. So that was stuff that, like, I mean, it just is what it is. And if that was part of the culture, do you even blame individuals for doing that? Because everybody put someone else down to feel better. Like they discuss it, they talk about it when they go to the gay bar,
Mhm.
right? Like the men at that bar are treated a certain way by society. So now they're going to treat the trans women a certain way, like they're at the bottom of the totem pole sort of thing. And the
Mhm.
trans women felt that about themselves also. And a lot of that, you know, the ball culture had to do with finding a space, a community for people who felt they weren't accepted at all by outside society. So it was interesting. I mean, I think it was a true portrayal of that time and this culture in that time. And I think it was incredible. There were pieces of it that made me sad for the individuals that were a part of it.
Mhm.
Um, but it didn't make me think any sort of way about the actual content, like of the creation of this magnificent show. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. I always think that that's such an interesting conversation that I'm like, I feel both not equipped to comment on, but it is an interesting commentary. The politics of beauty as social currency, and in
Mm-hmm.
the case of Pose and these trans women, um, passing or not being clocked
Mm-hmm.
as being trans is the ultimate
Goal.
currency. But
Yeah.
it, you know, just because you aesthetically like pass the bar doesn't mean like emotionally you pass the bar, which we find through Angel's character. Like, you know, and all these characters in that, like, you know, very few people are dealt a full set, like, you know, like a royal flush or something. Like you get everything in one go. My thoughts on femininity were interesting. I noticed that there are no lesbian characters, which I thought was strange. Or
Mm-hmm.
I just,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. What's going on here. But I mean, maybe also that's not a scene that I don't think that that's true. I was gonna say maybe that's not a scene that in the 80s lesbian women frequented, but I
Yeah.
don't
I
know.
bet it
But
was, but it really wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't a part of the storyline. We saw gay men,
mhm.
but we didn't see lesbian relationships.
Yeah. Uh, but I mean, you know, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm sure it was like I'm sure there's an intention behind it that I didn't.
for sure.
I just didn't pick up on, or maybe there was, and I also just didn't pick up on that because so, you know, whatever. Um,
No, I definitely don't. I don't have all of the tools to be able to discuss, yeah, what was true to life at that time and what wasn't. I mean, it was incredible. But those were just some things that I noticed where I was like, interesting. And I wonder why.
mm-hmm.
Um, but I don't have the answer to it.
Yeah, I love. Yeah, I mean, that was another thing that I loved. Was that this is a story being told through the lens of minority characters,
Hmm.
adding that little bit of extra interest because we're getting such diverse backgrounds. We get I'm so terrible at everyone's name. Damon, his
Hmm.
backstory with coming out as gay, um, through being kicked out of his house and his interaction with his family. And I'm like, oh my God, that is probably such a resonant experience, especially coming from a rather conservative Christian uh, family, also of a family of Black people.
Hmm. Hmm.
I was like, I don't know that if anyone in my immediate family had come out as gay, that they would have gotten any other um, response other than that. Like, I feel like that was very common, which is so
Yeah.
sad. Because when I was in high school and doing all this, it was like, well, 2000. the 2000s. So I'm like, not much had changed in the 20 years since Pose, but I mean, I feel like in the 20 years from like 2006 to present, and hopefully 20 years in the future, we'll continue to be making strides and helping people find community faster and without as much trauma, because that was traumatizing to watch. And then their stories at Christmas about their different Christmases, and I was like, ooh,
Oh my God.
you tried to get me. You tried to get me. And then Billy Porter and his lover, when he passes away, and they held that concert for them, and then I was crying the whole time.
Oh God.
Just dying.
It was so ridiculous. I was like, you can't put all this. You can't put it contain. I can't. I can't.
How is this in one season? You've taken me on such a roller coaster.
I know. I know. I know. Oh, okay. So the oh shit, did I lose it again? Oh, okay. In 1993, this is back to HIV. In 1993, HIV infection became the most common cause of death among all Americans aged 25 to 44.
Wow.
Did you know that? That sounds like
I did not.
Like
that is a lot I of people.
Didn't know. And I feel like I should have known, but I didn't. 1993.
Wow.
So yeah,
yeah, you really don't think of the AIDS as being an epidemic, and that word epidemic really has like numbers attached to it, deaths attached to it, not just like it's really bad, like a really bad, like it's like I feel like normally we would use epidemic to describe like a cold season, like a bad, oh, it's an epidemic of the flu going around, but like.
And it was like, it definitely was considered an epidemic for sure, wasn't it? Yeah, the HIV epidemic. For sure.
Yeah, but then just like if it was a full ass epidemic happening, the lack of response.
Hold on one moment. Sorry, Tessa. Tessa, the show is amazing.
It is. It's amazing. It needs no notes. It needs no commentary from anyone to know
really
how fantastic it is. Yeah, I just to say a little bit about the masculinity. I just really love Evan Peters' character. I thought that was such an interesting role that they didn't, or a perspective they didn't need to put in. Like we would have a very complete show just showing the lives and experiences of these minority characters, and would have been like very much fine with it. But the addition of him and adding like a little bit of just another area of context for the totality of New York. Like I would be so okay with this going the same way as American Horror Story, where we just keep meeting, like we had an entire season that was Jays, and then like never saw her again, another entire season for Elektra, and then we never saw her again, that we could get like even more information about these characters. Like,
oh yeah, like an anthology almost. A little, but within, but I want to stay in this universe.
Yes.
I never want to leave. I want to go.
Yeah.
I want to go to one of those balls.
Yes. I feel like their perspectives on masculinity in this were very good and very I don't know, enlightening. Feels like an appropriate word.
Interesting.
I just feel like the Trump guy, the Trump world of like that type of 80s masculinity, like all of those, like kind of giving me an American Psycho vibe, and James Vanderbeek.
Yeah.
Yeah, real scary. It's like, yeah, you definitely kill and eat people. Cool. That vision of masculinity in the 80s, juxtaposed against like the black father who was like overly aggressive towards his son because he was gay, because he was found to be dancing. I was like, if my son was a great dancer and was dancing, I would be so excited that my genetics made anything talented. Like,
yeah,
are you kidding? But like that vision of masculinity, which is like one of the toxic ones that I was given. But and then the trans women, and their like dating and love experiences with masculinity. And I was like, oh, thank you for just like giving the people more than they deserve. Like, I just feel like this show is more than we deserve.
I know.
We aren't worthy.
We aren't worthy. Like, I did not deserve this.
No, the world doesn't deserve this. The world doesn't deserve to see this level of vulnerability in the actors and in the story. And I mean, everyone else can just wrap it up. I don't feel like there should be anything else on TV at this point. Has everyone watched Pose? Like,
no, it was just live, work, pose. Like, just the beginning, and then the glitter.
I love that glitter blast. I was like, oh, we should get a glitter blast. How does one acquire a blast of glitter? Tell us. Tell me.
How much does a blast of glitter cost? It was everything. It was, and I was nervous, admittedly, when you chose Pose, or if Pose chose you. I don't know, but like, I was like, okay, I don't know much about it. I don't know anything about it, actually. And then I saw how many episodes and how long the episodes were, and I didn't start watching until this week. And I was overwhelmed. And then I got like through the first one, and I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be so easy. Like, I don't even have to make myself. Just couldn't wait until I was gonna watch it again. So I watched all like 9 to 10 hours this week. And it really is pretty much the only thing I watched this week, actually. I mean, I didn't have time.
Yeah.
But it was so good.
I loved it. Yeah, I watched it all this week. I watched like 1 or 2 episodes a day, and then I just found myself thinking about the characters, and I'm like, that to me is like how you know it was good. Because if I can think of the character individually and what do I think is happening in their plot, to me that's just a mark of good storytelling, that I can take the lead in like episode 2 and like write an entire storyline for your character in my own mind. Like, to me, that's the mark of like this writing team just needs a slow clap.
So good. It was tight. The script was tight. It was vulnerable. It was amazing. It was heartfelt. It was it was so good. So thank you. This was great.
I loved it. Do we want to go ahead and give this a rating? I feel like all we did was just say we love it. I feel like this is the exact same thing that happened with Booksmart. We're just like, there's nothing to say. There's nothing to say.
What did we give Booksmart? We gave it like over 5, but same, whatever our like SFL, like you've done it. I mean, it's 100% 5 out of 5, 10 out of 5, 100 out of 5. It was everything.
Yeah, this one deserves its own scale, its own stratosphere, its own
the best.
Yeah,
I can't wait to go into season 2.
I don't even feel worthy to rate it. Like,
I know, I felt uncomfortable even talking about it. It was incredible. I can't wait to like continue watching. We've got another season, 1 season on Netflix. The other season, was that just on FX or whatever, or maybe it's available on Netflix? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's FX. I think it just ended, season 3.
Oh my God.
So this is the perfect time to start something new. Soak up your air conditioning that you're paying too much for, and just like let the glitter bomb hit you. Let that glitter bomb hit you. Bring some tissue. You'll need it to dab your eyes.
Oh yeah, you will cry.
You
will cry.
Yes. Oh my God. They played like For All We Know by Donny Hathaway is like legit my favorite song, and I was like, how dare you play with me like this? Episode 7.
I know.
And I wept, like so sad and beautiful. And
okay, all right. I can't talk about it anymore. I have to end. Where can the listeners find us?
So we are on Twitter. We're at SFL_Chicago. Tweet at us, a glitter bomb if you also know where to purchase them, or can at least find the emoji for glitter.
And that actually made me think there should be a glitter bomb, like a bath bomb, but you can bring it into your bath. So you have like a bubble bath plus glitter, and you're just your fabulosity and your ferocity.
I love. Oh, yes, yes.
House of Ferocity, bitch.
Of ferocity.
You can find us also on Instagram at StrongFemalePOD. And yeah, rate, review, subscribe, find us on all the things. Let us know what you think. We have one more episode, and then we are going to be taking a vacay. Everyone needs a little vacay. We need to just,
yes,
a little
and if
R&R.
you just need a warm feeling and warm fuzzy feeling in your chest, I could not more strongly recommend Pose season 1 to anyone or anything. I wouldn't recommend that you do anything else but watch Pose if you've not already, or if you have already, just watch it again.
Yeah. That's it.
That was the easiest review ever.
I didn't even know
they nailed it. Yeah, whatever.
I didn't even know really what to talk about other than how amazing it was.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we love you guys.
Yeah, we love you guys. Celebrate Pride.
Celebrate Pride.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.